Hello, welcome to Movie Musters. Open for Business is the third episode of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan's third season. Third Power Book, bringing up Kanan. We're gradually approaching the meaty portion of the season, so Season 3 Episode 3 seemed like another setup episode. The family dynamics are collapsing more than ever, new commercial opportunities are emerging, and the FEDs are raising the stakes. This season's plot may be unfolding more slowly, but the show is still captivating as ever. The way that everything feels broken and divided in Power Book 3, Raising Kanan Season 3 so far is one thing that feels strange, even though it makes sense. It adds an intriguing aspect to the fact that the main family unit of Rak, Kanan, Marvin, Lulu, and Jukebox isn't what it used to be. And the fact that everyone is actually off doing their own thing independently of one another gives the season an intriguing new depth. Though not every tale has featured the entire family cooperating like some sort of Jamaica Queen's Scooby Gang, it is apparent how disjointed things feel. Consider Lulu as an example. He's always got some side project, isn't that right? In addition to owning the studio and continuing to perform occasionally, he has always had a foot in Rak's door. Having vowed to never speak to Rak again, he's been living a lifelong self-loathing, with some, but not much, Marvin support. Now that Lulu is largely alone and strolling around with little direction, it's unclear where this plot is going and why we should care about it at this point. Having said that, Raising Kanan is one of the best dramas out there, as it has consistently shown. I'm trusting the process here because, even if everything might seem a little jumbled right now, everything will make sense eventually. When he promised to assist Shirley with her club and apologized, Lulu took a big stride forward. Lulu is still troubled by all of the death and devastation that have occurred in his life, and music gives him the guidance he sorely needs. The upbringing of the Thomas siblings has never really been examined. Nevertheless, first-hand confirmation and observation provide us enough information to conclude that Rak gave Marvin and Lulu the direction they needed at a certain moment. Lulu is acting adrift without Rak in any form, but he might benefit from channeling his energies towards something constructive. There's no way Lulu doesn't find himself drugged back into his dysfunctional family drama someday, much as Rak's assertion that she's out of the game feels pathetic at best. However, at this point, he really needs some time to clear his thoughts. Since spearheading the hatred campaign against Rak, all he has accomplished is disappoint people. Additionally, that's not Lou. Speaking of disappointing people, Lulu should have faced consequences for not showing up for Jukebox. But, since Marvin was present at her audition, no one really noticed that he wasn't there, so she proceeded as usual, singing her heart out. Given that we already know how Jukebox's story ends, akin to Kanan's, there is additional excitement surrounding her narrative since they provide the missing pieces to the puzzles we never imagined solving. Jukebox is clearly at a crossroads when we see her seated with that army brochure. That family's foundation is built on music, and although Jukebox momentarily decided to distance herself from it following a string of heartbreaking setbacks, music remains an inextricably integral part of her. Even though her audition was brief and nice, she left a lasting impression. And it will be interesting to see how this experience affects her future, especially if she is traveling with a women group next. As he progresses toward his first independent business venture, it's exciting to watch the grown-up Kanan Stark emerge. In 2023, the cannabis delivery industry seems archaic, yet it would have been groundbreaking in its day. The reason for this is that it's so unknown that nobody is prepared to jump on board straight away. Nobody is certain if it will be successful or how much heat it will provide. They'll have to take a chance, and even if Kanan's proposal was really strong, considering that Rak was dropping by with an unending supply of cash, I couldn't blame Famous for being less than thrilled to dive headfirst into a risky business venture. It's true that a famous person needs to get up and take action, but the way Kanan essentially coerced him against his will to be his right-hand man, that will undoubtedly return to harm him at some point. It wasn't exactly the case that adult Kanan was a terrific buddy or that he had particularly strong relationships with other people. However, none of younger Kanan's pals have been as good as Famous. Their friendship has been strong from the beginning, but as Kanan changes into a cold-blooded young man, we might witness it become one of the first casualties of this change. Rak has always been an ambitious man, and I admire Kanan for trying to accomplish something without Rak's assistance. But why not take use of what Rak is offering you to improve your circumstances? Though it would be wiser to take what she's giving you and use it to better yourself rather than turning down the automobile and slapping the money onto the ground as it burned you. Those are awesome moments when you can act unbothered and superior to your mother. He should accept her forgiveness as long as she's prepared to purchase it with cash and presents until she sees that it won't work. Rack finds herself in an odd situation where she must secretly realize she's lost Kanan. But because she genuinely thinks that what she's doing is best for Kanan, she is unable to face her shortcomings. It's strange to be a parent in that way because you want to protect your kids so much, but sometimes it means putting them in conflict. Not only does she keep lying to Rack, but he feels like so much of his life has been a lie because of everything that occurred with Howard, perhaps even more so than the lies she still tells him. How can you overcome this? Do you think you should move past that? We'll most likely address those inquiries as long as Raising Kanan is broadcast. Rack will continue to attempt to shield her son no matter what the response is. We observed that she inquired about him around this hour because she was aware that the FEDs could be there at any moment. Even though it's important to monitor Kanan for a number of reasons, she is unaware that there may be a greater danger than the FBI posing for photos of her on the street. Ronnie Mathis, as was previously noted, will present challenges. It was during this hour that we began to get a glimpse of Ronnie's abilities and, more significantly, his thoughts. He is obviously patient, but only to a certain extent, and he is not a man who tolerates disrespect lightly. Since we witness him assaulting individuals and robbing cars and money as if it's nothing, he doesn't seem to be very concerned about being sent back to prison. Because of their stark differences, he and Unique have an intriguing interaction, and it seems like Ronnie is only turning to Unique when he needs some time to get his bearings. He hasn't played in a minute, and before he moves, he has to view the entire board. The brothers do not have total faith in one another. They're brothers, too, though it's impossible to say if they even like each other. Even though it's obvious that Ronnie disturbs everyone around him, there's a reason he went directly to Unique's after he got out and why Unique hasn't thrown him out. Unusual, as I previously mentioned, Ronnie, I'm still working on getting my act together. It will require a brief moment. Ronnie, Rack is eating our fucking lunch while you take your 5 minutes. Ronnie's still living in the past, to the extent that he views Rack as his greatest opportunity, even though Ronnie is unaware of this. I guess the most important thing I discovered about Ronnie from this experience was how much he thinks. We saw during the beating that he is reactive, but he is also meticulous. Now that he's aware of Unique and Rack, he doesn't break into Rack's home to get rid of her, even though that's what he's always wanted to do. No, he visits Kanan instead. He heads to take care of the person Rack values most. Instead of checkers, he's playing chess. When will the others, though, know they're just a piece on his board? Everything additional you should know. I had trouble recalling Gerald's identity and the reason behind his calls to Marvin for assistance. But because it doesn't feel forced, this was just another step in Marvin's successful comeback tour. Marvin seems to genuinely care that every day builds upon the one before it. Alright, so I'm now a certified Unique and Rack fan. Their chemistry has always been there, but their little exchanges are really charming and connect them on a deeper level. Furthermore, neither is playing the other at the moment. It's so charming that you can't help but smile. Although Famous was bothersome, he didn't deserve to be hit so severely. Howard excels in whatever he does. With some convincing lip service, he seemed to actually convince Adina to abandon the probe into Burke. It makes sense that throughout the years, he has gotten away with all of his nonsense. Given that their initial exchange was gold, I'm excited to see Unique and Quan collaborate. Now that Stefano is aware of how closely the FEDs are observing him, it will be interesting to see what happens with him. Time flies when you're having fun, and that's exactly what's happening right now. As always, there's a lot to discuss after this one, so please share your thoughts about the hour and potential future directions in the comments section below. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.